It was the worst experience ever in my life. He says, Junior, my house is on fire. He called. I get there while the fire department is there, while everybody's there.
People's roofs are getting ripped off left and right. Ours got ripped off right in the middle of us working there.
Right while you're doing that.
I'm doing it, and you know, we show up, our ladder's in the water, the insulation's gone, the roof is gone. And it started to melt. No one saw it melting, and as soon as it melted past the point, the heat, it wasn't even fire. When you open up the kettles, it's a flash. Ooh. And the flash caught it, boom, poof, right up the side of the building.
Welcome back to another video, guys. This is your host, Junior Garcia, the Carpenter's Touch, the podcast. Today I have a great guest, commercial roofing. Let's hit the intro, guys. Hey guys, welcome to another remodel. We are in another remodel. Keep watching, keep watching. So, I have my guest here, Jeremy from Simpson Roofing. Yes. So I'm gonna let him just grab the mic and share a little bit about yourself and your business.
I thank you. My name is Jeremy Simpson, Simpson Roofing. We do a lot of commercial, and I really appreciate Junior bringing us down here. We're a family-operated business, 3 generations deep. Wow. It's pretty. Great. We like it. There's a lot of experience underneath that belt. But I in my past couple of years, I took it down a notch, and I took time to get experience. Right. You know, those generations weren't me, so I had to change it up. Life changes, things move around. We got to get a little bit, you know, in tune to what's happening today. Right. So, you know, I like to say that I'm 3 generations long, but really this is my boat that we're sailing right now. And then, you know, it's really very, very interesting path in the commercial roofing world, I must say. And that's where we are now. I focus heavily on commercial, industrial, institutional, schools, churches, new construction, warehouses, anything with a flat roof on it for the most part. That is our bread and butter.
So basically for us, I'm a residential roofer, you're a commercial roofer. For us, we are playing in the little leagues, guys. Right? He's a major leaguer, so definitely he's in the major leagues making that bread, right? He's actually probably baking bread over there, right?
I'm hoping to get there. I'm hoping to get there.
Right. So, you know, we wanted to kind of kick it off a little bit, but where you out of? Where's your business out of?
So I will keep hold on the generational upbringing. We were originally from Paterson, New Jersey. My parents were born and raised there. Their parents were born and raised there. I was not born and raised there, but I was brought up there in Paterson, so I got to see all the ins and outs of the inner city life, the
good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes, a lot of ugly. But I was fortunate enough to also be raised up in the rural area, so I got the best of both worlds. I'll never fully claim the urban tag on me, but we always do say we're from Paterson, New Jersey. That's where we got our bones.
Right.
That's where we
got your stripes.
Yes. So and then from there we just expanded. You know, we went all throughout the tri-state for a little bit, but we've kind of brought it down to a little nuclear spot in northern New Jersey now, and it's going well.
Do you do New York City? Do you know New York City?
No, I used to love New York City. Right. I did. I so many stories about doing commercial work on some of the buildings, like literally down by where the towers were. I have a story of working on Water Street. Right. Cobblestone streets, doing awesome jobs. But fortunately, the way the business goes in that commercial world, I can't barely afford to go across the river anymore. Yeah,
it's besides that, you have to pay. You got to pay on the side, and a lot of people don't know that. You got to pay to get in. You got to pay for parking. You got to pay, you know, the margins are actually smaller. If you're allowed to be on the job site at a certain time, you're paying. There's a lot of people that doesn't know that works in, and I'm talking about New York City.
Yeah, the boroughs. It's a totally different.
It's totally different, right?
Yeah.
Staten Island, that's my borough. Staten Island is not like that, thank God. But when you're in Brooklyn, in the city of Brooklyn, if you're in Manhattan or in the Bronx and you're working in that area, somebody's controlling something.
Yes.
in a nice way.
Yes, and it becomes very restrictive for guys like us to go there and be competitive, to be legitimate. You know, we could go there all we want, but we're not going to have the moving parts to really provide the appropriate backup, you know, insurances and coverages and things like that. It's a different world. It's too much. It's too much.
But there's a lot of money to be made in the boroughs, right? So, you know, I remember, because I know that you're a commercial roofer. So you do industrial, you do commercial, right? Do churches, right? Big outfits, a lot of. So what type of flat roof system do you guys use?
Right now, we're very heavy in the single ply world. We've always been, you know, it's been EPDM for us for decades. It's been TPO and weldable materials, PVCs like that. That's always good. We grew up on the hot asphalt, so we do have a little background of that, but that faded away a little while ago.
How many buckets carrying up? Did you have? So back in the days, it was Chico Roofing out of Newark, New Jersey, and basically it was two pots, and then they'll bring it up, and then when they got, as the years went on, you know, they had the big rod kettles going up, and so, but generally they would bring up the kettles by rope. People would get burned. Third-degree burns. People were yelling, was screaming, and stuff like that. But it was a good roofing system at that time.
It's still, to be honest with you, there's spec out there now today that we are bidding upon that is still the hot asphalt systems. But it's crazy. I mean, there's stories back in the day when we would put we were able to crane lift a kettle up on top of a concrete roof, and we did things running up there. You cannot do that now. Right. But that's crazy times.
What it is. It's more of like a liability, safety. Your insurance is so much higher when you're doing hot tar.
Anything with heat and fire.
Yeah. And even torch is more money. I remember, and this is probably about 12, 13 years ago, my torch down was $26,000, and for residential.
What?
For insurance, just to have insurance.
Yes.
It was because
you wish it was that today. It was that today.
I wish, but that was back then, and it was a certain amount, right, of percentage of what you made, right? So I said we can't afford it. We can't afford it, so we had to drop it and just go down to something like EPDM. And probably for the people that that does commercial roofing, or you're a roofer, you probably understand what all the terminologies we're talking about. TPO, EPDM, glue down, even GAF Liberty peel and stick rubber roof, right?
That had its moment. When that line came out as a commercial roofer, when I first started to see that out, I'm like, oh no, don't do that. But in certain instances, it's you can use it. It was just people are sometimes like when we're talking about residential to commercial. Sometimes those products, even though it's a flat roof on one and it's a flat roof on another, they don't marry across the board. You can't use it in the same instance over there. There's different things that are going on my flat roof that are different than your residential flat roof. Traffic, things up on the roof, restaurant equipment.
You're higher up. You get more. The weather, the wind. There's so much things going on, and now people like in New York City, they want to put a garden right on top of your flat roof, So everything is landscaped up there. I had a friend of mine. He's a big landscaper. He's up North Jersey, and I came in on a job with him. But he told me he bidded on a job in New York City to do all the landscaping in a penthouse on a flat roof. And I think the price was somewhere around $180,000, $190,000. And he sent out the quote, and the guy signed the contract.
Yeah, it was probably about as big as his living room, too. It's nothing.
And he said, I underbidded the job. Because the guy signed the contract not even 5-10 minutes. So he was a Jersey guy doing work in New York. Prices are totally different. And he got to find out that he had to palm a lot of hands. Had to palm the elevator guy. He had to palm,
parking guy, the elevator guy.
Everybody. So everybody wanted a little piece of the action, But I would say to you, it's true. Because when I do flat roof for residential, whether it's Liberty peel and stick or it's EPDM glue down application, totally different, right? Totally different versus commercial. And we were just talking about ShopRite. You know, they're doing a TPO system right, diagonal from our building right now, and they'll go with a tapered type of insulation, right? Do you guys use tapered insulation?
Yes, we love tapered. Tapered is the best because it helps out moving that water along back to the drainage points. It's just a cool tool to use. The old buildings are built dead flat.
Right.
The mindset back then was there's actually roofs that my father, they were putting on. They were actually designed to hold water.
Right.
They wanted the water to stay on the roof. It kept the building cooler. They were built strong enough so they could hold it. But as these roofs start to age out, you can't redesign the framing of the building as easily as you can changing the slope of the insulation. It's a big cost factor, but it's nothing compared to redesigning the framing of the building, and it helps. And then you can put these single-ply roofs on right over the top of them,
real
like
quick.
nothing.
Then, I mean, back then when all the flat roofs were built back then, years and years ago, 50, 60 years ago, when everything was really flat, they had drains.
Everywhere.
Multiple drains. And if you guys know, if you have multiple drains, there's leaks, possible leaks. That's where water filtration will try to always find its way, But with having a tapered system and bringing along, maybe having a couple drains, but not like I went to a job in Staten Island. Probably about 30 drains. I'm like, dude.
It's too much. Yeah, it becomes real nice when you see those old style drain systems, and then combined with the tapered with the single ply, the water moves so much faster on it, and their water's off. As soon as the storm's cleared, boom, water's gone. It's gone.
No puddling, no nothing. So do you do coating?
I do.
To the people that don't know, can you explain to them about coating?
Coating is a really big market right now. Huge. The coatings are improving. The coatings can be done inside planter boxes. They can be done for restorations. They can be done on vertical surfaces, horizontal surfaces. They're amazing now.
A metal roof
to restore something that maybe was steel in the paint. There's so many coating things out there. For me personally, I never really got on board with the coatings because we were such dedicated single ply guys.
Got it.
Much like a shingler might be just a dedicated shingler, and they don't want to do tile.
Right.
It's just what we're used to, but we are changing because we're doing a huge coating job right now underneath a paver pedestal.
What would you say huge would be? What's the square footage?
This one's probably just about 30,000 square feet of
that's
coating.
Huge.
It's around a pool.
Okay.
And then over the top of it's going to have landscaping, pavers, decks, whatever have you. So that one's nice. And then we're doing another one where it's got like EP panels over the top of it. Panels, not
the boards.
Not the boards, the panels. Right. They're amazing. So over the top of that, coating, you got to be careful because some of the coatings just can't handle the traffic. You got to really know what you're going to put down. The systems got so many inner workings of them: acrylics, elastomerics, silicones, PMMAs. There's just so many. So, it's really a niche system, in my opinion. Right. Yeah, like coating guys are.
I know a lot of coating guys that only coating.
Yeah.
Only coating, and that's all they kind of take care of the market because they've done so many, With me, I'll do coating on flat roofs. For me, coating on flat roofs or on church areas because it becomes an area where it's affordable.
It's weird. It's coatings is the one thing where it has an affordable side. And then it has a massively expensive side, like the coatings that you're talking about in New York City high-rise loft. They're going to put a coating system down that's going to cost $35 a foot.
Right.
Where a restoration on a church might cost $8.
Right.
Labor, and material. That's
And I've seen the one that's $35 because it's brand new, tongue and groove, plywood. They're running a whole brand new system in a new construction area. I'm like, why? I'm like, I don't see it that way, but they see the more positive effects on it. And then also with coating, you can still recoat it again.
Yeah,
Did you get it?
Yes, yeah. They're very user friendly.
Yeah.
So
what is the biggest flat roof you've applied? So installed. You installed what? You know.
Man, that's a crazy one because the biggest one that I was ever involved with was probably back with my father.
Okay.
And it's a story one because we were part of the crew that put on the Palisades Center Mall in Nyack.
Oh, I know where that is. Yeah.
You know, it's huge. And for me, I was a teenager at the time.
Okay.
And that was before there was so many labor laws. So my dad's like, you know, we got hit with this big job. That was a big one for us even at the time. They're like, I need everybody hands on deck.
Yeah.
All hands on deck. Get all your friends, whatever you're going to do. Everybody. Because it was new construction. Nothing to throw in insulation and throw in rolls. So that was a huge one. I don't remember how many square feet that was. But, you know, they were using helicopters to land the equipment on the roof. I mean, cranes are flying over with people walking on steel. It was a crazy, crazy project to be a part of.
OSHA was not there at that time, guys.
No, if they were there, they were down in the trailer just waiting.
Yeah.
You know, radio up.
Yeah.
You know, it was a different world.
Back then it was
different world.
A lot of money was being exchanged, and a blind eye and a deaf ear situation. Just get the job done.
Yes.
And that was it. You know.
Get it going. Get it going. But that was probably the biggest one. We worked on tall buildings. We've been around, so I got a good amount of experience with the talls, the bigs, the wides, the systems like that. But for me now, today, I think I like the tall ones.
Do you?
I do. I'm liking the tall ones now.
Even though, I mean, for us, I think one of the questions is, you know, what is the setbacks of doing a flat roof? You know, because when I get a flat roof delivery, you know, you get a boom, and the boom will take it up. But there's special booms and special cranes when the building is so high up there.
Exactly, and that's why I like the tall ones now, because remember, it's kind of a niche right there too. The tall ones, you can only be a certain kind of commercial contractor to be up above a certain height, and then on this recent one that we did, there's a crane on site bolted to the building that's carrying up every trade's equipment, and it's just there. It's accommodating. You're able to get to work right away. You're not waiting, except for when you got to come up with the small stuff and you got to wait for an elevator.
Right.
But I mean, there's a true identified value on jobs like that I particularly like to be a part of, because there's more negotiating on what design you're doing rather than your number. Nobody's really chiseling. It's a set spec. This is what we're doing.
That's it.
And that's it.
That's it. We're gonna follow the plans. You know. Mm-hmm. To me, I've been on a commercial flat roof with a crane in the middle, and you know what it is, and you've experienced. Everything moves up there. When you're high up there, a lot of people don't know. It moves. You're standing still and like, wait, what's going on? There's a movement on that roof, and and you're still trying to do the roof job, but you're thinking, wait, there's a sway and everything.
Forget movement. We have winds
too.
It's a serious thing. It's gotta have eyes on the back of your head. Sometimes you could be as safe as you want to be, but if the wind catches something that's nothing to do with you and you're on your large project, it's just flying around.
Right.
The conditions are crazy, and that's why we like those up there again, because there's an identified type of company that's going to be at those heights with that kind of a setup to handle it and manage it.
And they know what they're going to do. Like your team is going to be able to. We've already done this. We know what to expect.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes they're learning experiences. That's don't want to be learning 30 stories in the air, 40 stories in the air, but
as your first job.
Yeah, but it happens.
Right.
You got to have your first one at some point, and it really helps to expand the experience, to be able to have one of those niches. Every commercial company is different. Every residential company might be different. They might like one thing better than the other, like that.
So for me, my first commercial roof is probably going to be in Secaucus, New Jersey. It was a cold storage. So the cold storage, it's always an inside guy.
Yeah.
Right? I know someone. I got a guy. So the boss told him he was the PM on the job and he had to get bids from other people. Long story short, I came in. They had massive leaks, real massive leaks. And it was a big commercial job for me then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're talking about maybe 15 years back then. And we was going to just do EP.10.
Mm-hmm.
There was no real major penetrations. There was, you know, a couple AC units up there and stuff like that. But when we started to tear off everything,
Rotted?
everything was rotted. The corrugated roof.
Knew it.
It was rotted, and so
You made me remind me of one
Yeah.
other one. Yeah.
So what happened was we started taking out, and then now we had to get corrugated metal roof. Now we did EPDM, but I was still new to installing corrugated, you know. So I brought somebody in to guide me through that, and we upsold that drastically on the corrugated because we had to find it, and we found it and had it delivered, had it boomed up, and we killed the job. You know, it was my first major commercial roofing job, and it was a cold storage, and we had to remove all the decking out of there and try to protect everything so rain doesn't come in. You know, it was, you know, those were the challenges because you're trying to remove decking, and in 2 more days it's gonna pour.
And you're gonna flood the place.
Yes, you're gonna flood everything, and then there's freezers with clients, you know, stuff inside of there, you know. So, but yeah, that was definitely what was yours. That you had to change corrugated metal roofing.
Man, that one was a paper mill.
Ooh.
A paper mill. And actually, now that you bring the size-wise
paper mill.
A paper corrugating company.
Right.
Horrible, because you have to worry about all the stuff falling down inside. And we're scrambling because you can't pause.
Right.
You can't, like, all right, guys, let's wait. That looks like a problem now. Let's go regroup. It's real time right now. It's like EMT out in the field. The sirens are going. Oh, God, we got to go.
I need this. I need a supply house. Bring this now.
It's fast.
Yes.
It's fast.
I got to bring this. I got to bring that, right?
All while keeping the customer calm.
Yes.
While telling them they probably just got an expense that cost them as much as the roof.
Exactly, twice.
Agreeing upon it.
Right.
Dealing with it. It's crazy. It's tough. But ours was the paper mill, and the decking was so bad from the moisture in the machines, I guess. It was just an open warehouse, or the fact that they just let it go for 20 years past its prime.
And probably not enough ventilation and stuff like that.
Yeah, all the hot, it was a hot warehouse. So hoppers making heat, blowing out the corrugated. So it was just bad. But we like the steel decking installs, though. When we do them, we fly with them. You know, we don't typically weld them. We usually get the okay engineer to mechanically attach them, so it goes faster for us in the field. We don't have to wait for the welder to come in there. And then even after the fact, we've had some where when you put the steel on, we mechanically put the roof on, get it watertight, and then they can do tack welds from the underneath and do structural support in the event that it's bad. But no, that was the worst one. That was the worst one. I mean, when you went downstairs after we ripped the roof off, the steel that was there, you didn't even see it. It looked like a planetarium? It looked like a planetarium in there. It was so dark, but the light was outside. You're just looking out at everything. And it's super dangerous because you can't walk on it.
And then, you know, and the guys have to tie off, and you have to be careful, and you're walking on the beams, you know.
Yeah,
so,
I've had many problems with, you know, the safety stuff is a whole nother thing.
Right.
Safety is crucial. You know, we have been, you know.
Has OSHA, you know, because we had a podcast about is OSHA real, right? And
real as a heart attack. Real as a heart attack.
Okay, so have you had any OSHA guy come up here and say? He flips out his little badge ID and says, "I'm OSHA," and for me it was he was taking a lot of pictures, right? And then he flipped out his badge. Hey, are you the owner? I said, "Yeah, I'm the owner." I said, "Okay, there's a lot of violations. Let me tell you about it." And then he'll show me pictures.
Oh, I know. It happens. You know, OSHA's no like joke for us. It's like they're there to protect us, but sometimes the way they sneak up on me, sometimes I want to freak out. We were on a job where we weren't even the reason why he was there. He was there was like a bridge getting built right here. It was Passaic County. A bridge was getting repaired on, and they were there for an inspection, and this guy just looked to the right, and he sees us up there doing a roof, walks over, checks the cords, and we're construction guys. Do we want everything to be perfect and beautiful in our tools? 100%.
Yes.
But also, I don't want to buy. A little prong is bent and twisted. $3,000.
That's fine.
But not like, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And, it's tough to navigate them. But no, they're real as a heart attack. Those guys that come out there,
told you.
Real as could be.
OSHA's real. For me, I think when I first started, and it's going to be, so me being in business, it's 19 years. But I started with my brother. We did a lot of interior work. And then I became his sub doing roofing and siding. So I started before that. And it was, I'm going to say about 21, 22 years ago, I had this job. And I remember I was doing a deck. I was doing, at that time, it was an AZAC deck. Similar, it was it was brand new PVC. And then he had a flat roof, and that flat roof, back then you will build a deck on top of that flat roof so they can they come out of the patio, boom, and they have a brand new deck. So I remember at that time, I used to live in Newark, New Jersey, and I told my guy, listen, let me go get a little bit of tar, we're done. Don't, just, flash here, flash there, and I'm gonna get more roofing cement. He took my torch gun and he started to torch it a little bit so it can bond. The rubber roof can bond. When he did that, right, I'm driving to Newark and
the fire truck was going the other way.
Thank God. This is how the story went. He started to see a lot of smoke, and when he started to see smoke, there was a cop coming in and he goes, hey, you guys, get out of here. He called the fire department. So the police officer passed by the house. He saw smoke from the house going up, and he went inside the house. He saw that my two workers working. He says, get out the house. He called the fire department, and it was, I literally almost burned down this guy's house. It was the worst experience ever in my life, guys. I had this happen. I probably cried that night. I did the right thing. Look what I did. He says, Junior, my house is on fire. He called. I get there while the fire department is there, while everybody's there. That happened in Livingston, New Jersey. The guy's name was Eric. Very, very nice guy. And the fire department does more damage than good.
I know.
They flooded the basement. They messed up. They messed up where the deck was at. The patio door got burnt up, everything. So at that time, it was like $8,000 worth of damage, which is probably not a lot. But for me, as a new kid, I didn't have
taking the hit. It's
right.
Tough.
It was very tough. But the guy told me, Junior, you guys are okay? Yeah. Are you okay? I said, I'm okay. My house is nothing. Everybody's fine. We can fix this, Junior. Don't worry. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
God bless that man's soul.
God,
we don't run into those kind of people every day.
You don't.
Especially on problems.
No, I burned his house, and I had to get up early in the morning the next day, guys. The next day. And I was still shaking in my heart, shaking in my pants, shaking in, just couldn't. I said, how am I going to do this? I got myself out of that bed. I felt so bad. And I went to work, started tuning the drywall, I started to replace all the carpet because now the carpet is flood, it got damaged, water damage, changed the insulation. They had to clean the inside of the entire home with a special chemical to take the smoke out of it. We redid his deck again. We did so much, and so the guys thanked me, and he thanked me because he said if it was someone else, I could have easily sued you, but I knew you was doing the right thing by me, and it was the best experience in a way for me because I learned what the grace of God was there and the mercy, because he could have buried me. My business could have went down. That news came out in the town paper in Livingston. They didn't mention my name, but
And if it was more current now, where there's social media now, you're posted, you go viral for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
For the wrong reason.
Yeah,
Nah,
so-
I have those. I mean, when you brought up with somebody with a good heart, but it makes me think, like, in our world, we're working outside. Sometimes we're taking apart people's properties and we're exposing their valuables. That's where they put their head at night. It's what they worked hard for to get and buy. And sometimes I'm going home and if we're doing demo, I'm not sleeping. I'm like nervous. Did they close that in well? In our world, commercial, like
turn off the generator.
Yeah, the generator off. We had one time where the guy, back in the day, a story where the guy left the hot mop in the hot bucket.
Ooh.
But it's not hot. Nothing's on.
Right.
There's no actual flame. But the thing was so hot, left alone, it ignited. It just ignited. And luckily nothing happened. But when we went down back to the next day, the hot bucket had melted.
No.
Down into the roof. And it was sitting there because we used a fire stop. It actually laid on that. But that could have been an entire building burnt down.
Right.
But it just makes me think, like, you're being in this business. Sometimes, being the best contractor you want to be, doing all the right things. You're going to sleep with, damn, did that close well? Did I shut that off? Did I?
Right.
Did I wait long enough after we were doing torch today to do my fire watch? Did I? All these things. Even our welding machines. There's no fire. It's hot air. I've answered the phone with my hot air gun, when I was down in the field. And if that thing just tips over and I'm just looking to the left, I turn back. Oh my God, the thing's smoking, burning the roof off. So, even the most cautious person, you're not sleeping well sometimes when we're doing these demos.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
when it's a big job, you're tossing and turning at night, and you're kind of making sure when it's a big job like that, I go over every single thing. Just, that experience got me away from torching roof, guys. I don't torch roof. I do glue down application, EP.10. But I became a better contractor after that situation.
Experienced all the problems. Even
definitely,
Same thing. All these problems that we've had, we could share stories about all the mess ups and the mishaps forever. I mean, everybody's got them. Everybody's got them.
I'm going to say, if you've been in contracting for 10 years, whether you're a roofer, a plumber, or something, you've gone through mistakes. You've gone through,
especially if you're hands-on, getting in it yourself.
Yeah, you've gone through it. If you haven't had a mistake, you probably haven't been in business for 10 years, more than 10 years, because it happens.
Yeah, you're a good-hearted guy. I had the opposite happen to me.
Right.
I had somebody where we were in the middle of a job, got right on the water of the Hudson, Weehawken area.
Oh, I know where that is.
Storms coming up. It was a literal, like a hurricane-type storm. People's roofs are getting ripped off left and right. Ours got ripped off right in the middle of us working there.
Right while you're doing that.
I'm doing it, and we show up. Our ladder's in the water. Our insulation's gone. The roof is gone. And this guy did the exact opposite. He came after us. Everything. We have to rebuild the whole house. The tenants all around, left and right, mold.
Oh my God.
Everybody's got to protect everything. So it just blew up. So it's just different things that sometimes, the good natured guy, God bless his soul, but then there's other people out there that
they're out to get you. They don't have like
searching for opportunity.
Yeah, probably.
Searching
because
for opportunity.
you get they can double dip. They'll try to get it from you and from the insurance company.
Yes, and rest assured that entire building got rebuilt up again the same way, just with him getting, his own benefits done for him. Not everyone's going to be, fair to the situation. It was a storm, natural disaster. It happened.
Yeah, Mother Nature.
But yeah, no, we've had so many of them. Man, I can't remember. We have so much. I want the whole podcast to be about our mess ups. We could go all day. But
we can definitely go all day. But I know we're cutting close, right? Are we cutting close or no? Oh, we got it. So tell us about the hotel. Tell us about that hotel.
So, going into the catastrophes of life, I don't really go too deep in all of them, but there's some marked ones, there's ones that bring back the memory, like we're talking about fire and hot asphalt.
Yes.
The guys, running the kettle's 600 degrees.
Right.
And you got to get it close to the building. to get the hot up. This is years ago.
Yes.
This is not recent.
No.
This is not recent.
I'm going to say more than 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Easy.
The hotel has been renovated since. But, historically, hot asphalt's super dangerous. It's 600 degrees. You got a man down there monitoring it, keeping it going like, a chef at the oven. Sometimes things happen.
Yes.
And I remember specifically this one. This was back when EFIS was just coming out.
Oh, okay. Right.
So EFIS, very flammable.
Yes.
And it started to melt. No one saw it melting. And as soon as it melted past the point, the heat, it wasn't even fire. When you open up the kettles, it's a flash.
Ooh.
And the flash caught it, boom, poof, right up the side of the building. So that one was significant damage. But it was a learning experience. I mean, I was young at the time, so it wasn't, head of the helm, but it was a learning experience to know what you can do, where your limitations are, search for products that you shouldn't have a kettle running up against.
Got it.
We set a tree on fire one time. All it takes is a tree branch blown in the wind to perfect timing as you're opening the kettle. Woof, caught on fire. It happens. That's why it's a special trade, those hot asphalt systems.
I mean, there's still people out there, and I remember we was talking before about it, that they're out there, right? It's a specialty, it's a niche, right? And people that know how to do it, they've been doing it for a lot of years. I remember Penn Roofing. They used to do it as well because they were the competitors for Chico's Roofing in Newark, New Jersey. So my last question to you would be, what would you tell, what advice would you give a small, an upcoming commercial roofing contractor that he's in it, he wants to get in it? What would you say to him?
I love that question because I actually, even though I have a lot of experience behind me, I actually feel as though I'm an up-and-coming person new. Again, just because of how much things have changed in my time, my experience, the history, the good, the bad, the way development happens, the way money flows. Back in the day, we had a handful of customers. There were solid handshake customers doing six-figure jobs, and they stood by you. Now it's not so much that; it's corporations, it's entities. So it's a totally different game. The first thing I would just say to somebody, and like I'm talking to myself, is be patient. And, the experience is going to be the teacher of all.
Okay.
I mean, of all.
So would you say to him, if he's working for a commercial roofing contractor now, stay there minimum 5 to 7 years, learn the ins and the outs, be a PM there, or before, because everybody starts as a helper, then an installer, then you become a super, and after a super, you become a PM. I'm running the big jobs, So would you say 5, 10 years before he decides to venture out?
Everybody's going to be a little bit different, but that's a good marker. 3 to 5 years, you should be pretty well versed. If you're working for a commercial roofing company, you should be pretty well versed in a plethora of their systems that they're putting on, hot, torch, single ply, things like that. But it's also, if I'm talking to a business owner, it's the other side. I was fortunate enough to have my dad and my uncle, to whom one was in the field and operations and one was back office management and sales. So you need both.
Right.
You need both. So if you're going to really take a jump, make sure that you're not just a guy that's going to be head down putting the roof on. Make sure you know how to
run a business.
Explain it. Run a business. Follow your numbers, follow your money, because you can be a business for 5 minutes if you and be the best roofer, and that's it. It's over.
They say within the first year, 50% of roofing contractors will close their doors. The first year, and it generally, I'm gonna say it's probably estimating. And people will estimate it. I've talking to a guy that does copy. He does, he prints for a lot of different companies, and he says, something? I've underbidded jobs to get the job and realized I didn't even make it. Mm-hmm. I didn't make no profit out of it. I've just broke even. And when you're doing commercial roofing, you can
really make
really good money in a big, large job, but also you can lose money if you underestimate the job.
Mm-hmm.
So
every job is going to be different in my commercial world. You can blow through if it's a 10,000 square foot job. for customer A, we can blow through it and you're done and it's over. Pay me.
Right.
If you're on the other, that same size job and it's development, it's waiting on trades, it's hire, it's just all these other logistical problems on it that you might have missed.
And money.
Now that same job is taking 6-7 months. That same profit that you figured is not the same anymore.
No.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. So it's a tough one. That estimating, I would actually agree heavily on that. Watching it, because estimating, sometimes it's not the time that you take in to put the roof on. It's the time other things take up.
Extra equipment, the lifts, the booms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Safety equipment, a lot of different other stuff. Logistical. The other guy wasn't there to run the HVAC units and stuff like that. They held you up,
This guy's late now. I can't finish.
Yep.
It's a whole.
Yep.
Gotta watch it.
Yep.
That's a good one.
So guys, there you have it. Here with Jeremy talking about commercial roofing. If you like this, follow. What's your handle on Instagram?
We got Simpson Roofing NJ.
Simpson Roofing NJ. You can follow him there as well. And then you can always follow me on Carpenter's Touch on Instagram. Don't forget, guys, we're at almost 980 something followers on Instagram, on YouTube. Once we get to 1,000, it's gonna be I think it's 12 more subscribers. We're gonna give away a free roof. So don't forget to like, to subscribe, and keep watching.